Yes, indeed. This is Professor David Steinberg of the Steinberg Files. For links to background for this story, go to steinbergfiles.com. This is an old story, but a good one. Originally published in 2009 in the New York Times with the title Gore, meaning Al Gore, Gore's Dual Role. Advocate and investor. Don't you like that? My title for the story would have been Al Gore Gets Rich Off of Tax Dollars. But hey, that's just me. Okay, here's where the story starts. In 2009, the Obama administration had decided to award some $3.4 billion in smart grid grants. 3.4 billion of your tax dollars went to these grants. Now, we could talk about whether that's how the administration really ought to be spending your tax dollars, but that's a conversation for another time. This was a competitive process, and only 1 out of 3 of the applicants actually got grant money. One of the biggest winners was a company called Silver Spring Networks, and they received, more than $560 million. $560 million went to utilities that Silver Spring had contracts with. Well, what do you know? Al Gore's venture capital firm, Kleiner Perkins, had previously invested $75 million in Silver Spring Networks. What do you think? Just coincidence? As a result of this smart grid grant, Mr. Gore and his partners could recoup their investment many times over in the coming years. Doesn't that make you feel good that taxpayer money will be used so Al Gore can make a lot of money? In fact, the New York Times reports that critics, mostly on the political right and among global warming skeptics, say Mr. Gore is poised to become the world's first carbon billionaire, profiting from government policies he supports that would direct billions of dollars to the business ventures he has invested in. Do you see a conflict of interest there? Well, how did Mr. Gore respond to all this? Here's his response. Do you think there is something wrong with being active in business in this country? I'm proud of it. I'm proud of it. Do I think there's something wrong with being active in business? No, absolutely not. Mr. Gore, if you want to go out and develop a product that people want to buy and you make money, I think that's terrific. That's the way capitalism works. I think it's fantastic. If you want to make another movie about how the world's coming to an end and people will pay to see it, private people will pay to see it, and you make a profit on your money, good for you. That's perfectly fine. But I get a little upset when my tax dollars are being used to make Al Gore rich. When the Obama administration is literally taking my tax dollars and your tax dollars and putting them in the pockets of Al Gore. That's not why I pay my taxes. This is Professor David Steinberg.